Yeah. There's that excuse of Clallam County again. He's crazy. Oh. Now, this personal recognizance from September 19th of 2017. Yeah. Notice the failure to appear in when required by court will result in defendant's arrest. Mhm. Now, just a few days ago, I talked about my requirement to appear, and if I failed to appear, yes, it would result in the defendant's arrest. I just want to know, do you have to docket each court hearing? Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm the crazy father that informs you of child exploitation, and then you request my presence in court without giving me notice of court hearings or docketing court hearings. Ouch. I would say that you're crazy for having court hearings that are undocketed. How this failure to appear when required by court will result. Yeah. Is that inclusive of you just requesting me to appear in court, or do you have to docket each and every court hearing? Now, this right to be let alone, you as a court don't feel that you have any obligation to leave me alone. Well, I think you have an obligation, yeah, to have a cell hearing where you're going to want to prove my insanity, right? My schizophrenia, my bipolar, my delusion, yeah, for not thinking it criminal that you don't have docketed court hearings of any defendant. And then this arresting me for failure to appear without actual notice, because you did put it on the docket and it was on the court website, but there was no personal summons requiring me to have to appear. Oh, and there was no signed statement of anything that I had done wrong. Now, Olmsted versus the United States, the right to be let alone, the most comprehensive of rights and the right most valued by civilized men. To protect the right, every unjustifiable intrusion by the government upon the privacy of the individual, whatever the means employed, must be deemed a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Let's see. Criminal complaints with no personal summons. When I ask you to tell me what it's about, you could have just given me notice. Yes. Knowing that I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, knowing I was in Port Angeles, Washington, knowing that I wasn't cyber stalking, because I sent thousands of emails. Cats versus the United States. Recording by police of conversation in public telephone booth was a violation of the Fourth Amendment because the speaker had a reasonable expectation of privacy in the booth. Yes. Do I have the reasonable expectation of my phone without you recording conversations? Yeah. Now you're trying to cover up your top secret family. Pooch. I think I can sue you for listening in on that little microphone. And if somebody has the microphone on these headphones, hello, is anybody there? Maybe the Army would like to contact any and all individuals of the United States and send them a text message. We could be really mean to those in the judiciary. Pooch, we could just make it public knowledge. Now, it's my right, yes, to my privacy, and if I don't want it private, yes, could we just call the United States Army or the Navy? In fact, give me every radio station of the United States and all of those employed in radio everywhere in this nation and the world if they'd like to know who they are. Yes. Maybe you could call the Russians. Putin doing anything? Yeah. The Germans? Is there any employees of any military in any nation that it is their actual job description to translate, yes, interpret other languages? Now, let's say you're German. You're sitting there in Germany doing nothing in the German army, and somebody sends you a text message. Would you like to interpret the English being used in these radio broadcasts for broadcast throughout Germany? And you're thinking to yourself, my English is pretty good. I suppose I could do it. But I'm thinking that I'm going to utilize my right to my privacy. Yes, because instead of using your top secret way of surveillancing my personal life, yeah, I'm just going to use this microphone and I'm going to call every military of this great world. The Chinese, it's the other side of the world. Is it morning? What time is it in China? Approximately 12 hours from now. Let me see what time it is. Ouch. 9:24, a.m. Yeah. Now, is it Sunday or is it Saturday morning in China? Because I don't know what direction the time zones go. Yes. Well, let's call the Chinese Red Army, and there might be some of those that. Did you need to practice your English, Chinese soldier? Yes. Why don't we put it on the radio in China and make sure the whole world knows? Now, I just wanted 30 or 40 million. Yes. But if we could get a radio show with 1 billion listeners worldwide, because the militaries of the world, that anointing can get really big. Now, as an individual that realizes exactly who I am, yes, you're saying I'm crazy. There's nobody listening. Nobody's listening through this microphone. I'm sitting here all by myself. There's not a military throughout the world that has any idea what I'm saying. Ouch. And they don't have any employees that their job is to actually listen in and interpret what other nations are talking about. I think it'd be good training. Okay. I think it would be really good for them. Now, this Cats versus US, yeah, why don't you record each and every one of these YouTube videos I'm making? Yes. Translate it into your individual languages in each nation of the world. Yes. Just send text messages out to truck drivers in every nation of the world and ask them if they'd like to connect their Wi-Fi or their data to a web page where they can listen to these radio shows. Yep, yep, yep. Because I know in the United States there's approximately 6.6 million truck drivers, but if I got the CDLs of every certified driver's long haul, no, that's not what it is. Does anybody know what the acronym CDL means? Because when I think about all the semis throughout the whole world, there could be truck drivers in other nations that find it very interesting. Now, there's this right to defend, Runyon versus State. When a person, being without fault, is in a place where he has a right to be, is violently assaulted, he may, without retreating, repel by force. And if, in the reasonable exercise of his right of self defense, his assailant is killed, he is justified. Now, I have a right to defend my own personal life against your corruption and your bullshit about me being crazy. Yes. And since it's my brain on trial on January 4th of this next year, pooch, I'm thinking that I'm going to defend myself against your fraud right now. You seem to think that you can corrupt the judicial system of the United States because you cannot reverse any decisions. Prosecuting attorneys, folks, public defenders. Yes, I have a right to defend myself. And if you're found guilty of treason, insurrection, belligerence, and I know I read that, it was like some of the big stories of Washington State. They've somewhat outlawed capital punishment. I think we're going to put it back, okay? I'd like to see Deputy every chair for the United States of America right now. Oh, I have the right to defend myself because I'm not at fault for being in Vernon, Washington on June 16th of 2017. Yeah. And I'm not at fault for informing law enforcement on my civil rights being violated. Yes. And I have the right to be where I'm at, and you're violently assaulting my own right to not involuntarily be admitted to a mental facility where you can administer psychotropic medication against my will. Pooh. Now, when you think about the use